And this is what a Hatchet Craw does. Safe to say I'm throwing the hatchet at these fish today. Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle, and today we are going to do a video on the new Hatchet Craw by Do It Molds. I just picked this up from Barlow's Tackle. Definitely go out and check them out. We are a part of the affiliate program at Barlow's Tackle. If you use the code B8N Tackle, all one word, you will get you won't get anything off, but you will help support the channel, help me buy more stuff like this to show you guys, so you guys can see what there is out there, how it does shooting, all of that kind of thing. We go through a lot of this stuff every time we do a video. A lot of molds, a lot of lead, a lot of plastic, we do it all. But this mold in particular, very cool style crawfish. It's a little bit different style. It's got like a hatchet type craw end. I see why they named it the Hatchet Craw. I have not yet seen this performance wise yet. I can't wait to try some of these and get them out on the water. I've made some already, but I'm going to make some today. We are going to make some today. We're going to make some, I believe we're going to do some blue craw with some black flake, and we are also going to do some black and blue, so black with some blue flake. So stay tuned, let's do this. Alright guys, so here it is, the Hatchet Craw. It's a 4-cavity mold. It is a 3.9 inch bait. This is the serial number or model number. It's HCW 4-4-39. It is a cast aluminum mold, which you already know my opinion on cast. It leaves a rough surface. It does not smooth, but these are pretty awesome. I'm sure Do It Molds will come out with a CNC'd version at some point here. They're very expensive, the CNC'd version, especially Do It Molds, so I'm not really a huge fan of the price point of the CNC, but these work just as good. They just have a rough finish on them. They're not smooth. That's the only thing I really dislike about this type of mold. But the style bait, I'm really enjoying this bait because right to me already it looks a lot like the same profile, body profile, as like a Guggen Kraken Craw, which I have a lot of good luck with on the eastern part of Virginia State. So the body style, I'm not sure about how these claws actually interact, like how they actually move. I haven't seen that yet, so we're going to see that at some point. It's not going to be in this video, we're just going to make them today. So again, we're going to do some of these Hatchet Craws. At the same time I'm doing this, I have an order I've got to fill for a buddy, and he wanted blue craw with some black flake and black with blue, which we've never done black and blue on here. I think we've done blue craw, but not black and blue. We're also going to do some of the bushy beetles. So he wanted to try both of those. He hasn't tried them yet. And another fantastic mold that Do It Mold makes. And again, same idea. They do have, I'm pretty sure, a CNC version of this now. And like I said, they're very expensive. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to put these two together. We're going to make one color at a time, and we're going to shoot them both at the same time. And they're both about the same profile if you look at them. So the bushy beetle is 4.2 inches, but the Hatchet Craw is about 3.9, so a little bit smaller, but not much. They're very close profile wise. So we're going to go ahead and get those together. We're going to go ahead and clamp those together, and then we're going to go ahead and get our plastic ready. Now I've already went ahead and gotten our plastic poured into our cups. We just need to heat them up and add our colorant and do our vacuum chamber, degassing chamber, and then we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to take this cup, put it in the microwave, get it going, probably about 3 minutes. We got to get it up to 350 before we can add the colorant and the flake. So hopefully we're at about the right temperature here. 340, something like that. I think we're good right here. We got a significant amount of air bubbles in here, but that's okay. All we're going to do right now is I'm going to shake up the colorant, and this is the colorant. We are using Dead On Plastics Blue Craw. As soon as it wants to focus in, there we go. Awesome color. It's like a brown-green pumpkin and shifts to a blue. It's an amazing color pattern. I love it. So we're going to use this. We're also going to add some black flake. I'm going to use 0.035. I'm just making sure that this is really good and shaken up, which it should be at this point. So we're going to go ahead and do drops, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. We're going to start with 20, see where that gives us. Okay, you can see the blue, and from where I'm sitting I can see the brown, but we want it a little bit more colored than that, so let's add another 20. Okay, so there's 40 drops total right there. And I wanted to darken it up. I don't want it super translucent. I don't think he does either, so yeah, there we go. Blue Craw, baby. Alright, so when the body, you can see right now, well, you probably can't see it, but when the body is there, it's thicker and it's going to be darker, that brown. And then when it hits that light, it's going to be that blue. So really nice color. Okay, so I think what we'll do, you know what, I'm going to add, see, we did 40. Let's go ahead and do 50 drops. Okay, that is 50 drops right there. So thinking 50, just to make sure that we're not super translucent, but we're still going to be a little bit translucent, but you know, I want it dark enough to where that body's going to be nice and dark. It's going to be nice and thick and dark. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 scoop, let's try 1 scoop of that black glitter first. Let's see what this looks like with just the 1 scoop in it, and see if it gives the effect I want. I think I want a little bit more flake in there. Yeah, that's pretty good, but I want a little bit more. So let's do another pinch. That's a pinch. Got those off of Amazon if you're curious where to get them. There we go. Pinch. Get some more flake in there. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so I think we've achieved the color that we want with our black flake. We have gotten our color in there. Let's see what our temperature's at. I probably need to, we're at about 330. I'm gonna go ahead and heat it back up. Then we're gonna degas it. And then we will hopefully be able to make our baits here. Degassing the degassing chamber. Trying to get all that moisture and air bubbles out. All right, we are ready to shoot. We've got our Blue Craw ready to go. It's tough for you guys to see, I know, kind of on camera, but we are ready to go. We're at about 350, just knocking down some air bubbles on the top of that. I got my big injector here. I think it's like a 10 ounce or an 8 ounce. I can't remember which. I'm gonna go ahead and draw all that up in there. I think the color came out great, by the way. I think the saturation is perfect. So let's go ahead and inject these things. It does not take much plastic in any of these cavities for either one of these molds. Doesn't take much, just pushing down a little bit. Hold it for a second, move to the next one. Push it down, hold it, move to the next one. Down, hold it, move to the next one. I'm not sure if that one filled or not, so we may have to go back and do that again. Well, we're going to do a bunch of these anyway, but for right now I'm just going to go back and just top off each sprue just in case it takes more plastic than you think. And then I'm going to bleed off the injector with the rest of the plastic back in here, because I think this injector is probably a little bit too big for what we're doing. Okay. So you can tell already, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can tell already that you can see the blue in the thin parts and see how like thick green brown that is, like almost like a green pumpkin. So the body I expect to be like this, and I expect the claws to be this blue color. So it'll be pretty sweet. And I think the ends of these claws on the Hatchet Craw will be a little thicker too, like where the actual hatchet part is, it'll be brown. So it's going to be a really interesting craw. I think this is going to be kind of neat because you're going to have that brown on the tip of the claw, and then you're going to have blue, kind of bluish through the thin part, and then back to that green pumpkin brown again. So that's going to look pretty slick. So let's let this thing set up a little bit, let it cure up a little bit, and once these guys solidify, I will take them out, I'll show you, and then I'm going to go ahead off camera and make a bunch more of this same color, and then we'll come back and we'll make the black and blue. I'll show you what we're going to do there. Alright guys, so I think we're good. It's a little tacky, but I think we're all set. So let's go ahead and show the one that we're really doing here, which is the Hatchet Craw. And I will show you the bushy beetle as well, what that looks like in this color. It looks pretty good, I'm sure. So let me back out here. I can show you what we got. I have no idea what side these are going to show on. Looks like 2 and 2. And it did what I thought it was going to do. So you could see how the body is that dark green pumpkin, and the claws, the thin parts, are green. And these down here darken up a little bit, not too terribly much, but a little bit, they darken up. That's what you got. Nice blue craw. Very cool color. I love this coloring. It's tough to see. I know it's really hard to, I mean, even with that light on, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference other than the shine on the bait. But definitely a green pumpkin type, which is tough to see on camera. But that blue definitely comes through. That blue-green. It's fantastic. I love it. Now with these baits, the only thing I don't like about them is you have to cut the sprues off, because they didn't really make like a skinny part of the body. And as per usual with the do-it molds, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes, depending on the temperature of your plastic, you'll get some little missing spots here where the hooks go, okay? I don't know if I really got a good example. I guess this one is probably as good as it's going to get, but if you can see that, let me see if I can zoom in here. If you can see this, that's not going to zoom in that close. Okay. So right there, it's, I don't know why it's zooming in up here, but see that shiny spot right there? That is where a little bit of air got trapped in there. So sometimes that happens. I'm not too much of a stickler on little stuff like that, but for the most part, these came out beautiful. The color came out great. I don't see any air at all. I might see a little bit in one of these in the claws, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not that picky. I got most of the air out of everything the best I could. I'm going to make a bunch of these anyway, so there you go. That's what we got right there. Fantastic baits. I don't know why it keeps zooming in here. I'm going to have to shut this off and restart. There we go. So, beautiful color. Like I said, we're going to make a bunch more of these, and then I'm going to, we'll do a different color. So, here you have it. I've got 12 of each type, the Hatchet Craw and the bushy beetle. You guys have seen the bushy beetle before, so we're just gonna kind of concentrate on the Hatchet Craw. Pretty awesome. See how they've kind of darkened up after sitting there for a little bit, but they still have that translucent green blue through the, it's like a blue-green but more blue, but you can see it when I lift it up and you can see the light through. Pretty awesome bait, I'm telling you. But like a seed color, brown, Fantastic. So excited. I know it's probably tough to see on camera. That's a tough one to see on camera. The next one's going to be black, but it's going to have blue flake. I don't know how well that's going to show up either. So I guess I picked some real good colors for today's video, guys. But fantastic. I mean, I love that color pattern. The dead-on plastic blue craw. I did end up having to add, I added 10 more drops. So we went 60 drops of this, I believe. 50 or 60, I can't remember. I want to say 60 drops of this, and then I added 1 drop of dead-on black to it just to darken it up just a little bit, and I think that made all the difference in the world. But amazing, amazing color. I'll get some pictures of these at the end. Hopefully you can see the color pattern a little bit better. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, so we got our plastic heated up, guys. Quite a few air bubbles, but that's okay. That'll come out in the degassing chamber. I'm just gonna knock down a little bit. We got our dead-on plastic black. We're gonna go ahead and start with 20 drops and see how well that goes. Okay, let's see what 20 does. Definitely turned it black, that's for sure. Let's see how translucent that is. Not very translucent at all. I may have overpowered this one. But let's add the blue flake and see what happens. We're going to do 2 scoops of blue flake. 1, 2. I'm actually going to go ahead and do 3 because I want a ton of blue flake in this one. Not like our last one. Man, that flake container got blue flake everywhere. Got caught in the lid, got it all over the place. Anyway, okay, so we got our blue flake in there. Let's get it stirred up real good. I think what I'm going to do is stir this up real good, and let's put some on the countertop here. We'll pull a Chris Jones and see if this see how this looks. I mean, we want it dark, but I don't know how dark we want it. We want it so that we can at least see the blue flake. It's very dark, but I think because of all the blue flake in it, it's actually not too bad. I don't know if I can get you guys zoomed into that. Oh, my camera arm is about to fall off the counter here. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see that well, but from what I'm seeing, let's see if I can get you out of here and get you closer. From what I'm seeing, that looks pretty darn good. I probably should have not put in as many drops. So if you're going to try to replicate this, I would say probably go with like 10. Try 10 and see how that works first. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to fix the camera arm, but I think we need to get the air bubbles out first. It is a little bit translucent. See that? When I stretch it out, you can see through it a little bit. Tough to see in the camera. But the blue looks good. The blue flake looks really good in it. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and run with that. That looks good, actually. It's not bad. It's definitely dark blue. But you know what I think we're going to do? We're going to add a little bit more flake. That's what I think we're going to do. Just to get that blue flake to stand out really well. There we go. Hopefully I won't make a mess like I did last time. This container is very messy. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and heat this up one more time. And we're going to put it through the degassing chamber, get the air out of it. Maybe that'll help too. See the color better. Let's see how we make out. A bunch of blue stuck to the knife, trying to get off. Alright, we are at about 340. We're going to go ahead and inject it. The The color came out a little bit better than I expected. It's still pretty dark, but let's get these baits shot first and see how the color comes out. Because I'm kind of curious if that really is a good color. I think the saturation might be okay. The thing about this new Hatchet Craw mold is I feel like the cavities, the holes are a little bit small. So like my injector that I use from Lurecraft, usually it fits right in there pretty well, like it does for the bushy beetle. But for that Hatchet Craw, it's a little tight. So I'm not sure if that's just something from my injector or what. But I mean, that color is going to be really good, really good. So let's let those cure up for a minute. We'll open them up and see what we got. So these are definitely cooled down enough now. We're going to go ahead, take a peek, see what we got. The Hatchet Craw. Alright guys, let's check these things out. Amazing. I'm getting a little bit of air pockets here in the cavities or in behind the hammer claws, and I've noticed that it doesn't matter what temperature I'm shooting it at, it's still giving me a little bit of headache with some indentation. So I'm going to try a couple different things, but chances are it's probably not. I mean, again, these are cast aluminum. They're not, you know, the best, but they're not the worst either. I mean, they're still, I'm expecting them to still be perfectly fine for action, but those came out really good. So again, pretty translucent right here in the arms of the claws, and they came out fantastic. Black and blue flake, black, traditional color, looks fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and get these other ones trimmed up here. And again, these are you got to cut these sprues. They cut it like an angle. It's real strange. I'm not a huge fan of it. Let me just show you the way that the cavity is laid out, that it's like angled. So you got to cut straight on the bait and not get the angle part like you would in the thing. So sometimes it comes out a little bit funky, but other than that, I'm not really too worried about it. Same thing as the bushy beetle, is a little bit of trouble with air pockets around the top edge there where the hook slots is. So, but other than that, not too shabby. Again, getting a little bit of indentation around the claws. So that's just something to look out for. If anybody else has this mold and you are experiencing that same issue and you figured out how to get rid of those, let me know. All right, I'm gonna try to hold it a little bit longer next time, see how that turns out. But for the most part, they came out pretty darn good. Well, here's the completed masterpiece of the Hatchet Craw by Do It Molds. The only thing that I can say that I'm a little bit disappointed in is the amount of air bubbles that I get, not air bubbles, but denting I get on the inside of the craw hammers. Some air bubbles too, I'm experiencing that from both. So that's about the only thing I could say. I am getting a little bit of missing, you know, like air is getting trapped right there around that hook slot, which is the same thing with the bushy beetle. It's the same exact problem. But the interesting thing is the entire claw fills out completely, which is great. But like I said, you just get some denting on the back sides of these claws, which I don't think is going to affect the action of it. I won't know until I get them out to test them, because I have a couple that actually have that same issue, and I'm going to try that out in the field. I'm going to try to throw those around and see what the difference is, and see if I can, because pretty much every single one of them has that denting in them. So and it's always that same spot. I tried cooling, tried a little bit cooler plastic. I tried injecting it slower as opposed to faster. I could not get it to make much of a difference at all. Again, these are lower end cast molds. I'm not really too concerned about it. These are just to make batch baits where I can just, you know, make up a bunch, and, you know, not really for selling but for using personally. So this is a very comparable to the Guggen Kraken Craw, which is, I use it quite a bit. So was pretty excited about the same body style with the, you know, with the claws. Hopefully it has a similar action or better. So I'm pretty excited about it. But here's the black and blue, and here's your blue craw. Both came out very nicely. I will definitely throw some pictures here on the end so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I think that is going to wrap it up. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed that. That is the Hatchet Craw by Do It Molds. Picked up the wrong half, of course. It is the HCW-4-39. Pretty sweet mold. Awesome little baits. Like I said, I was having some issues with some air getting trapped or some denting in the claws, but not a big deal really, and not in my mind. I mean, I'll still use this like crazy. I probably won't sell them in particularly unless somebody just wants them to try, kind of deal. But not bad. Very good mold. Again, this is one of those cast aluminum molds. This is one of those ones a little bit cheaper, but you know, you get what you pay for. They probably will be coming out with a CNC mold at some point here, and those will be very expensive, but I bet that will definitely be a better finish, number one, and number two, it'll probably be a lot better to inject. Hopefully they'll fix their issues. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. By the way, you can get these molds over at Barlow's Tackle. I am an affiliate, so if you use the code B8N Tackle, all one word, it'll help support the channel, gives me a little bit of extra money to buy. It's actually not even money, it's credit towards me purchasing stuff through them so that I can show you guys. So new molds come out, new colors come out, all that kind of stuff. I've been trying to show you guys different things every episode the best I can, so we will continue to do that. If there's anything you guys want to see in particular, please let me know and I'll try to make that happen. So again, thank you so much, and remember, keep on baiting.